Hey everybody, welcome to the YouTube channel. It is your marketing director here, Kevin, and I'm going to color Shere Khan today. So, if you didn't know, Shere Khan in some Indian languages actually means Tiger King. So, Shere Khan is he's our villain in our story in the new Wild About You stamp set that came out this March. And he is going to be who we are coloring. And I'm not going to start with his body color like I start with most of my things. I'm actually going to be starting with his stripes. And his stripes, because they're kind of thin, I'm only using two colors. So I'm using E47 dark brown and E37 are sepia. So let us go ahead and start to get him all colored up. So again, first step is my E47, so that's that dark brown. And I'm going to start with that dark brown at the bottom edges of his stripes. And I'm also going to use that as his eyebrow color as well. So the inside corners, I'll fill it in completely. But it will have room for our next color, that E37, as we come around. So basically, every little stripe, I'm going to be putting in that dark. But in some parts, I'm just kind of doing the inner U shape. I'm not going to do the entire thing, just to give me some blending room. So, if you have this set, which one did you color first? If you don't have this set, which one do you want to color first? Is it Mowgli, who is the essential character of the story Jungle Book? Or is it Baloo? Is it Shere Khan like I'm doing right now? Is it Ka the Snake or Colonel Hachi? Stripe, stripe, stripes. If I made that a stripe, and that's not a stripe, so okay. Had to decide how that was going to go. Yep, I think that's right. Yep. So now that we've got our first color in that, our E47, we're going to go to our E37. So that's our sepia. So right here. And then we'll just blend those quick. So my coloring order was I did Mowgli first. Then I went ahead and colored Baloo. What did I do after Baloo? Oh, I think I did. Yeah, I did Baloo. Then I did Colonel Hati, and then I did King Louie, and then I did Ka. Pretty sure that was my order. And now I'm saving. I saved here Shere Khan for me to color last. I'm not sure why. I think he was just like, he was cool. I don't know. Who else ends up liking the villains of the story? No, maybe you're not supposed to, but I do it anyway. Not always, though. Not always. Some villains are just too bad. All right, so you can see here, I'm just kind of filling in those stripes, but I got to be a little bit more careful here. So I have gone outside the line a little bit, so you know me. And if you see my videos before, that means I'm going to want to go in there with a colorless blender. But so when you do these lines, just make sure that you're using just the very, very tip of your marker. Now I did choose these browns too because they're a little bit on the warmer side because I wanted to keep his overall character. Look what I just did. Overall character, keeping with a warm tone to his fur. Because we're going to be going in with some YRs and Ys. And there we got the stripes colored. Just going to make sure I don't have any white spots in there. Anything too light. And I am going to grab one of my colorless blenders, of course. Just to touch up where I went over or outside the line. Even though really once I color it and add in this main body color, you're not really going to notice it so much. But, you know me. So, colorless blender to the rescue. All right. So now that we have his stripes, I'm actually going to go to his tongue next. So for his tongue, I'm just going to be using RV12. So that's our salmon pink. So I'm going to go ahead and get that colored right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in R12. So this is our light tea rose. Just to kind of soften that up. For the inside of his mouth, we're going to be using R39, so that's our garnet. So it's a really simple color here. And we don't want to get his teeth. So we want to be very careful of where we place this color, especially because it is red. And it would be much harder to use a colorless blender to get that out. I'm trying to be very quiet as I color this because I want to be very careful about where I put this color. There we go. So R39 just kind of fills in his mouth quite easily. So now for his nose, I'm going to use our EO4, so that's our lipstick natural. I'm going to keep this color down towards the bottom. And I'll curve it up a little bit each side. From our EO4, I'm going to go back with that RV42, so that's our salmon pink. We're not going to use the chisel nib though. I'm going to switch that around. And I'm just going to kind of rock that back and forth here. And then I'm going to go in with my 312. So this is that light tea rose again. I'm going to fill that in. I'm going to go back in with my EO4 a little bit. Keep on grabbing the chisel nib here this morning. And I said this morning, but who knows when you're watching the video. And when I say this morning, it's actually afternoon while I'm coloring this as well. So I guess I don't know what time it is. So I'm just going in with that RV42 again. And then the R12. And I'm just kind of coming in from the corners of his nose. And there, that's going to be his little tiger nose color. From there, I'm going to go to his inner ears. His inner ears are going to be EO4, just in the bottom as well, but just into a bit of a V shape. And I'm not going to overdo it. And then I'm not going to use the RV42. I'm just going to go straight to my R12, that light T rose. Just so that I keep his inner ear just a little bit lighter and not quite as pinky. There, so now we have his inner ears. And that is all done. All right, so now we're going to do his, what are we going to do? That's a good question. We're going to do his body color next. So his body color is going to be E19, EO8, YR18, YR68, sorry, and Y38. So we're using a lot of colors in his body, and then we're for his muzzle and his chest area and around his like kind of face beard area, we're going to be using E42, E41, and E50. But these will all be up on your screen when it's relevant to use them. So I'm going to go ahead and what am I going to do? Yeah, we're going to start with that EO8 first. And we're going to go ahead, and that is our brown. So our EO8 is our brown, and we're going to put in our deepest shadow areas first. So I'm going to have the deepest shadow, I can speak, into the bottom of his toes. We can have that curve around a little bit, and just up the back. This toe here, which is more in shadow, is going to get a little bit more. This back leg. And actually, let's go right into here as well. Now this one, a little bit less because it's kind of right in the foreground there. And we'll put a little shadow right under his chest here onto that leg. So that is our EO8 right in those spots. Now we're going to go at the bottom of his tail, or on the outside right here. And very, very carefully on his ears, on that little section right under the pink inner ear. We're just going to go up a little bit, not all the way. We're going to go above his nose. And we're going to go just a little bit into the tip of his eyebrow. But I'm not fully connecting it. So it's kind of like almost like a Nike symbol and then backwards. And I'm going to give him a little bit of shadow right at that top part of his ear, and just a little bit in this corner with that EO4. And I'm going to want just a little tiny hint. Sorry, I'm like going way off here. A little tiny hint right under there for that shadow. And we'll put a little bit in his belly, but we want to make sure we kind of keep it further back as we're going to add some light into that chest. So from there, we're going to go into our E19. So this is our redwood. And I apologize, I bumped the light camera here. So here we're going to just kind of build up that color. So we're going to go into that toe color a little bit. Do you mind? And I just realized I was supposed to start with E19, not EO8. I'm very silly. So here, let's go put that in backwards. So I apologize. So I'm going to fix that on the screen, and I will make sure that it says use E19 first, not E08. But we're going to put them in the same spot. So I'm going to go ahead and just make my quick little, let me call it corrections here. So we're going to ignore that part of the video and pretend it like never happened. So start with E19 first, then you're going to go to your E08. So I apologize. And I'm just going to extend that a little. Oh, forgot the little nose here. All right, so we did the E19, then the E08 over top, and it extends. So I do apologize for that confusion. Then we're going to go ahead and go in with our YR18. And can go over, and we're going to bring that over that toe color, and those E19 and the E08. We're going to blend that in there. And same with these back toes. We're going to add that in there. And we're going to stretch it up a little bit. And I'm going to go a little bit in this stripe. I'm going to add this color kind of towards the bottom of those stripes there. And then same in this tail here. I'm going up a little bit, just not all the way over. Now, right on the outside edge of this stripe, I'm just going to kind of follow it around up to there. And same on this side, I'm just going to go a little bit on the outside edge here. I'm going to follow it up. And I'm going to find this curve here, go up around that muzzle part. So here, and then go right over top and right over top. Then I'm going to add a little bit of this. We're going to come up that ear a bit. We're going to go over the top of his nose. And again, I'm blending that in with my E19 and E08. And I'm just kind of pulling that out and back. I'm going to go around his eyebrow now. And blending that in. So you should be having kind of a weird looking tiger right now. So now we're going to pull down from this side just a little. You don't want to do too much, and we want to make sure that we're ending before we get outside those stripe lines. And same here, we're going to follow that in. I'm going to go over top here. And then from this line in the belly, and just kind of going up from it and pulling back. And I want to make sure I get down in here into this front leg that's shadowed. and back in here as well. So there is our YR18. Now we're going to go in with our YR68, which is just called orange. So now our orange is going to now start to fill in a little bit more of the body of that orange, and we're bringing it out more. We can go over what we colored, and then here on this front foot, I'm going to bring it up. And then in here, I'm going to go completely over. And then on this side, the other side, and I'm going to bring this over here, down here now. And then under here, under that stripe, and then I'm going to go right under this eye. And same above this stripe, over here, and again under his eye. And then we can work that up from the nose. And in between his brows there. Yeah, turn him a little bit. And we're going to bring that color up towards his forehead and off that eyebrow. Same up into that forehead, up to the top of his head there. And just going to bring that up. And then same into the ears right here. Just kind of dabbing that in and blending it. Just making sure I have it kind of everywhere that I want. So that was the YR68 orange. And now we're going to our final color, which is our YR8. So this is honey. So this goes from the YRs now into the Ys. Now here, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start the tail, and I'm going to bring that color over. So this is where I'm going from the light where there's a little bit of white, and I'm pushing it back into where the dark is. Same down here. I'm going to bring this down. And into the tip of his ear here and round it. I'm going to go over the top of his head. And in through his stripes in here a bit. And I'm just kind of not making a straight line here, and I'm just kind of going over. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Not a straight line, I'm just kind of jiggling it, wiggling it, jiggling it, wiggling it, whatever we want to say here, into that line. And then right under this line here where we have that stripe, I'm going to go under there. And I'm going to use that to soften that up a bit. A little bit under the eye. Spinning him around again. I'm going to go ahead and the same here, right where I have this line. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to soften that under that stripe a bit. There we go. So now I'm going to pause because I'm like paranoid. I guess I have OCD. I don't know. But I went outside the line here and I'm like, drives me nuts. So we're going to go over there a little bit. And then I also went into his muzzle beard area a little bit too. And yes, we're going to color it, but you know me. So let me know in the comments, who are you coloring first? Which is your favorite character? And I want to see what you're doing. So show us your stuff. So go to the Stamp Anything Stampers page, post your work. We want to see. All right. Look, I just noticed right here. Driving me crazy. There. No, like it's a big deal. All right, so we're not leaving that white though. This is where we're going in with that E4241 and E50. I know, it's a weird combo, but we're going to start with that E42. So this is our sand white. Our sand white is kind of our darkest. So we're going to place that right down here at the bottom. And we're going to jiggle it a little bit up the sides. And then it's going to be kind of at the bottom of his little beard area. And out into those corners. And we're going to put a little bit under his lip right here. And then right here is where his lips curled up and around. And a little bit to that outside. So that was our E42. So next up is our E41. So that's our pearl white. So pearl white, we're going to just go on the outside edge here. Just blend that in a little bit. Bring that up, up, up. And again, same above his muzzle. So that was our E41. And then our E50 now is going to be our last color. I'm just going to go right in the middle here. And I'm going to bring it out toward the sides a little bit. Just want to make sure everything looks blended. Now under his chin. Up and around the sides. Into the muzzle area, right around his nose. Up into the sides. A little bit in here. And drag that in. Here as well. And then I'm just going to kind of go around this here. Just going to soften that fur transition. Same here. I'm just kind of helping to soften where that fur is and where that transition of kind of lighter to darker color is. Go in here a little bit too. Just to kind of lighten things up a little bit. And then I just noticed right in here. Well, I think he's looking pretty stinking cute. What do you guys think? Do you like him? And of course, I'm going to have to give him some extra little eye highlights and go over the ones he already has. So again, small image. I'm using a white gel pen. I'm going to go over his little eye highlights that he already has. But I'm going to add an extra dot to each side. And then just to make sure his teeth are nice and gleaming white, just going to dot a little bit of color in there as well. And there we have it. This is our finished colored image of Shere Khan. I hope you enjoyed coloring with me and exploring some new different color combinations, because like that body combination of E19, E08, YR18, YR68, and Y38 is something probably a little bit new to you. Let me know in the comments, how did you like it? And remember to share your projects on our Facebook page, the Stamp Anything Stampers page. Make sure to give us a like or a thumbs up. Subscribe to the page. Make sure you hit the bell notification so you get all our notifications. And comment and share as well. Everything you do helps us. And remember to stamp it, color it, and love it. Until next time, we'll see you and have a great crafty time.